A lush green park in the middle of the city. A loud and noisy office. Which one is relaxing? Why? Have you ever thought about why you sometimes feel the need to take a break and get away from the city? Environmental preference of nature over built settings is a theory that has been empirically proven in a variety of studies since its inception in the 80s. This originated largely from the review by Kaplan in 1983, which states that natural settings are generally strongly preferred over urban settings. Urban settings containing nature are the next preferred. Unmanaged nature is less preferred than landscaped areas, and trees are valued components of urban nature. This leads us to wonder if the perceived quality and beauty of urban setting has an impact on positive emotion. What makes us prefer one environment over the other? Everything starts out as an idea. We've seen green cities and smart cities. The need of the hour is a city which cares for our most valuable assets: health and happiness. This brings us to the topic of the day:
cities for well-being.
Global urbanization is happening at an unprecedented rate. At a time when creating and maintaining environments that cater to the health and well-being of people and communities is coming to the forefront of decision-making. So let's understand what well-being means and what it constitutes and how it concerns our quality of life. So what do you mean by well-being? And why is it important? Mental health is defined as a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own potential, can cope with the normal stresses of life and work productively, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. In simple words, mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Scientifically, this definition builds upon two traditions within well-being and happiness studies, known as hedonic and eudaimonic. While the hedonic well-being focuses on short-term happiness or positivity, the eudaimonic well-being focuses on profound satisfaction of living in the long term. Hedonic well-being is also sometimes referred to as the emotional well-being, as it describes how one feels in the moment and the past states while experiencing a variety of emotions. It helps us balance our pleasant experiences over unpleasant ones. Eudaimonic well-being defines that happiness can be found in the activities and conditions of an individual's life. It comprises psychological and social well-being involving a broader range of indicators which include personal growth, positive emotions and relationships, stress reduction, attention restoration, environmental mastery, sense of belonging and community, neighborhood satisfaction, and social interaction and integration. All these components collectively help us understand something called subjective or individual well-being, which is a subjective emotional and mental evaluation of one's situation in life and their reactions to particular events or experiences. It is a combination of social, economic, environmental, cultural, and political conditions identified by individuals and their communities to flourish and fulfill their potential. Now, what has all of this got to do with our neighborhoods and cities? Studies have found that mental health is affected by urban living, and urban environment factors can increase the occurrence of serious mental health illnesses. This establishes the links between the built and social environments with the components of mental health, that is, happiness and well-being. Urbanization is one of the main health-relevant changes humanity is facing in our time and will be facing in the coming decades. Today, 55% of the world's population lives in urban areas, a proportion that is expected to increase to 68% by 2050. According to the UN, projections show that urbanization combined with the overall growth of the world's population could add another 2.5 billion people to urban areas by 2050, with close to 90% of this increase taking place in Asia and Africa. According to a paper published in 2007, the urban environment that consists of the social, physical, and the urban resource infrastructure influence one's physical and mental health. It has been well established that city life and mental well-being are interdependent in many ways. With growing urbanization, an increasing number of people are exposed to risk factors originating from the urban social or physical environment, contributing to increased stress, which in turn negatively associates with mental health. Social isolation and discrimination, as well as poverty in the neighborhood, contribute to the mental health burden. Several people have been advocating for people-centric city designs. The Canadian urban activist and writer Jane Jacobs has championed the community-based approach to planning, and the Danish urban designer and architect Jan Gehl is an advocate for creating cities for people. A systematic review of slum upgrading programs in low and middle-income countries indicate that a number of interventions can positively influence mental health. Specific interventions include water and sanitation improvements, energy infrastructure upgrade, building new transport infrastructure, mitigating environmental hazards, better waste management systems, and improved housing. Cities are built to establish cohesive communities for the individuals, to enhance interaction and communication, to learn, grow, and evolve, which makes the public realms even more important. Built environment having elements like green roofs, private open spaces, streets, natural light, etc. have a restorative effect on stressed minds. Visual connection through the window influences the mental health of the inhabitants. For a city to prosper, its inhabitants must be able to identify with and feel part of its values and aspirations. To begin with it, we need to change our outlook of how we perceive economic growth and well-being, going beyond the conventional ideas of society and its development. Instead of measuring the numbers and figures of macroeconomics, aspects of quality of living should be focused upon. In the near future, most of the population is going to reside in cities. The realm should have access to basic needs such as health services, education, clean air and water, and sanitation. In 2011, the UN General Assembly adopted the resolution Happiness towards a holistic definition of development and invited member countries to measure the happiness of their people and to use data to guide public policy. The index helps individuals understand how their living conditions relate to the reality in their countries and around the world.
Several happiness indices are consequently being developed by experts across the world. If we increase the width of the roads and not make pedestrians for walking, we are making cities which will eventually consume more resources and time to reach our destination. Indeed, there is no point building a multi-billion-dollar business district if people need to spend hours in traffic to get to work every morning. We have to increasingly move towards compact cities with dense urban forms, where destinations are within reach and easily accessible. Social connectedness is the most powerful driver of human happiness. People with strong, positive relationships with family and friends are happier, healthier, and more productive, and that's the key to design sustainable and truly happy cities of the future. Cities are full of opportunities. That is why people go there. But what refuge do they offer? The slow spaces are the spaces of refuge, both physical and mental, that we retreat to when we are overwhelmed, in need of comfort, or just tired at the end of the day. But even on the main thoroughfares of cities, there are slow spaces that allow the urban dweller both refuge and prospect. Securely nestled under a roof or canopy with one's back against a wall, the full rush of the city unfolds before you. For the price of a coffee in the sidewalk cafes, you can sit for hours and enjoy the prospect from a comfortable refuge. These are intermediary transitional spaces, neither fully inside or fully outside, neither completely private nor completely public. Well-being cities, cities which care for our minds.